American football in Finland.
The voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Purvis, and this is American Football in Finland. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Chris Green.
What's up? What's up, Purvis? It's been a minute.
Yes, it has, man. Just a slight minute, but that's okay. The AFF podcast is available everywhere you listen to your podcast, and you can see it visually here on YouTube. Wherever you listen or watch, be sure to subscribe, follow, and like us. Anyone who listens but doesn't hit that button, we know you're a hater, but that's cool. We're going to go on with the show anyways. There's like a slight lag for some reason. I don't know why. Everything's a little bit slow moving. Probably because I just restarted my laptop. But we need a longer interlude also. It's only like 5 seconds. It's like a real quick clip. You can't get anything done in between it. We found that out last week, me and Q. But before we get into like the interviews that we have today and talking about the rosters, Chris Gray, man, it's been a while. Tell us what you've been up to in the off season, man. Let us catch up with you for a second.
I mean, off season, been working. I've always been coaching the university team in Bristol, the UE Bullets, and we won our 4th straight national championship. So that was good. We got the 4-peat, which was crazy. I've been playing my season now. Started for the Aztecs. We played a few games. We won a couple games. We lost one to the Warriors. We've been in the CEFL as well. We won our first game against Amsterdam, so the Dutch champions, but we lost. We got our butts kicked last week against Karlstad in Sweden, which is why I wasn't here on the pod. So, but yeah, we're back now.
What happened? I want to know what happened before we move on. What happened against in Sweden? I guess I didn't watch the game, but I saw the score and I was like, "Nah, that's not the Aztecs I know."
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have everyone, but I don't feel like that's an excuse. I still feel like they were better than us. Like if we'd have had everyone, I feel like they still would have beat us, but it would have been a bit more of a competitive score, like maybe like 35-14 or 35-21, something like that. But we just didn't play well. Like looking back on the film, we were missing assignments, like missing blocks. Like it just wasn't a great day for us. We just didn't play well, and they played better than us. I mean, it was only 21-0 at a half, and you think 3-score games, nothing really. And then they scored 2 more times in the second half. But yeah, we just didn't play great. They played better than us. They deserved to beat us. So hey, hats off to them. But I hear they lost to Orebro as well recently, yesterday, I think. So
just happened, and I watched actually all the Sweden games this morning. I'll record the Pro Football Sweden podcast tomorrow. That's the first thing we're going to talk about is them losing to Orebro, but it was a little bit different story. Orebro really like put it on them early. A lot of turnovers. It turned straight into points, and like that's football. Like that just seems like it happens. Like it happens to everybody. Just like you guys. Like if you're just not playing that day, then it happens. I think that's one thing. That's one thing that's really interesting about American football that people don't understand sometimes. I've been saying it on the Sweden podcast, and if you're watching this and want to tune in to Pro Football Sweden, we podcast over there too. But one thing I say a lot to those guys is stats is for nerds. Because American football, like it's called Any Given Sunday for a reason. Like you could do all the analytics you want. Like, oh, well, this team beat this team by this many points. This team did this to that team, so that means this is going to happen. And then you go out there, and that's not ever like you just don't know. Like you never know what's going to happen. It could be your day. It could not be your day. It's one of those sports where it takes so much to be good at football. Like you need so much like help from everybody, every person, every situation that it's really hard to predict what's going to happen. So anytime that you think that whatever happened before can determine what's going to happen in the future, you're usually wrong. And that's why we get to do podcasts like this because, we can guess all we want to, but you have to prove on the field, and the field always determines who actually wins. Unlike other sports, I'm not going to throw out any other sports because there are some other sports where they have ties and, how many wins and losses like can affect this and that, but football always comes down to you have to win the championship to be the champion. You can win all the games in the season and not win the championship. You're not the champion. Ask the 2007, New England Patriots.
Don't talk to me about that.
They went 16-0, and Eli man got him.
18-0.
Oh yeah, 18 with the playoffs. 18-0, and then losing the championship. That's what I love about American football. Different than almost any other sport. You know, like you can have like in basketball and soccer, a lot of times it's just by your records. You know, like your records determine where you're gonna be. In basketball, you win a couple of games in a series. Baseball, you have to win a certain amount of games in a series. I don't know how cricket is. How does that go?
Depends on the competition. So in the World Cup, for example, they have a group stage, but then they have straight knockout. So whoever wins wins. So yeah, it's a bit different. But then like the league stuff, like the county championship, they call it. You play like so many games, and it's done in a league, like in a group. So it's different depending on the format.
Yeah, like that's what I really like about American football is that it really doesn't matter what you play or how you play. You have to win that championship game. Like you have to play somebody to get that championship, which means everything can always be settled on the field. So anytime someone ever comes to me, it's like, well, how do you think that this team is better than this team? And I'm like, well, you'll see it on the field when it matters too. Like also, you can lose to a team and still be better. Like that happens.
Yeah.
If you have another chance to play them, but you lose to them and it's the last game, well, there's no way to redeem yourself. You can't say we'll get them next time. There is no next time. But I guess we used up our first down talking about nonsense as we do. But that's because Chris Green is back, and it's always good to talk to Chris Green, man. So we're gonna get into the show today. We'll go over some rosters, but first, let's get into an interview. We welcome to the AFF podcast. Timmy, what's up, man?
Thank you. Nothing much. Just got home this morning from Turku. We had the latest game there.
Good to have you, man. So let me move this screen stuff around. So, Timmy, you're with the Kuopio Steelers this season.
Yes, sir.
Before we get into it, how did it come about that you ended up wanting to take that position in Kuopio this year?
Well, I was here last year and came here with Nessie and a bunch of other guys from down south and found a girlfriend here, fiance here, and I decided to stay. The usual.
That's how it be.
That's how it is. Okay, so let's get into the football of this season. We're going to go over you guys' roster here in a bit. Honestly, we just go off of what's online and it's never updated. So how about you give us the heads up on some guys and some things you guys have going on the offensive side that we might be ready for this season?
Well, I think we might have the best Finnish receiver group in the whole league.
That's a bold take.
Yeah, I know. That. Well, like guys like from last year, Kuikka, who was already good last year, but was maybe number 3 receiver. He's starting this year. He's been looking really good at practice. Same thing with Noah Choate. He's been looking sharp. He's going to be a beast this year. And we didn't bring a U.S. receiver, so I trust in the group. That's the biggest thing.
That's a big move not to bring in an American receiver. Chris, did you have a question for him before I ask my next one?
Obviously the change in head coach as well. Like, what's the feelings like in the camp? Like, what kind of mindset does Coach Mattingly bring to the Steelers?
Well, Coach Madden is a tough guy, like a great coach. I like Mike a lot. Like, we worked together in Wolverines, and I was happy when we signed him. Really happy. He's a really good coach, brings tempo to the practices, structure to the practices, and everything's been great with him.
Yeah, so I don't know if you actually deal with the defensive side, Tim, but I do want to ask about the defensive players that you guys have this year, because I know from last year's team, it should look a little different because I think you had some guys leave, but I'm not 100% sure. That's why I'm asking you, do you know what's going on defensive side, personnel-wise?
We had some guys going, some new guys coming. Like, it's going to look a little different this year, but I think we'll be good, maybe even better. Last year we had a lot of injuries, but if that doesn't happen this year, we'll be fine.
Okay, going into the 2025 Maple Leaf season, they redistributed like the teams, and you guys are in different leagues and stuff. What are your guys' thought on being in like that league to what are you, the East? Are y'all guys in the East, right?
Yeah, I think we're in the East. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're in the East. Yeah. So, what do you think about like the East League? What are your thoughts on the other teams and how you guys fit in that mix?
Well, of course, Butchers is a great team. No one can say anything about that. Their offense is going to be explosive. Let's say that. Like, and their defense is good. Like, if you get Curtis Slater on your defense and Zach Wright at the other safety, there's going to be some challenges for offenses. Other team. Who else do we have?
You got the I think you got the Wolverines and you got East City Giants over there.
Well, ECG, a young team. I got a few friends there, but I think their age is they are not yet ready. Like 2 or 3 years, and that's going to be a great team. Wolverines, on the other hand, they got some players back, but I'm not worried about them.
Okay. Now, excuse me, you guys last year, offense it's very, very easy to tell what it was. You had probably an MVP quarterback before he got injured, and then you had Austin Brock at receiver, Josh Taylor at quarterback. Sorry, I didn't say his name, but those two are gone. You're gonna focus on your finished receiving core this year. What can we expect in the scoring category range? I've already said that the Roosters are going to put up like 4 or 5 50 burgers, but what about the Steelers? What are you thinking points-wise on an average for you guys?
Let's say 35 plus a game, and I'm happy.
Okay. All right, 35 plus. That's bold. That's a lot of points, but I mean, it is Big 12. Maple League is a Big 12 football out here, so you should be able to do it. Yeah. Chris, you got any more questions for him before we let him get out of here? I don't want to hold him too long.
No, I mean, I think we've covered what we needed to cover. Good to hear from you, Tim. You know, good luck with the season, and I hope it goes well for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tim, appreciate you, man. Good luck to you guys, and I'll let you get out of here, and we'll see you. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
I like doing these interviews a little bit. It's kind of fun. So we just talked to Tim, so I should probably do the interview thing. Hold on, give me a second. I know we're doing a show live, but the interlude like helps like the AI and stuff like realize like that we're going to different segments because they like pop this up afterwards, and that way we have some stuff. But let's talk about the Kuopio Steelers. Actually, I'm gonna try to find this file. So while I try to find this file with their roster, we're just gonna go through the names and stuff because Tim told us a little bit about them, gave us a couple of names, but I want to go through it one by one. And we'll just let me type while we're here. Ooh. I guess I didn't name it the right thing on my computer. Okay, there you go. Steelers roster. They're up here. Okay, we're good to go. All right. I'm gonna talk through it, and we'll go from there, I guess. Number 0, linebacker Adam Callahan. I can't read this. I'm sorry. Hold on. I feel like I should have prepared better today, but it is what it is on Sundays live. Okay, here we go. Number 0, linebacker Adam Callahan. Number 1 is going to be defensive back Oni Kirky. Number 2, wide receiver Noah Choate. Did he change numbers?
Change his number, yeah. He was like 23 when he last year.
Yeah, 21 or 23 or something like that.
Yeah.
Number 3, quarterback Kahari Lane. Number 7, wide receiver Nicholas Quicka. Number 8, wide receiver Juho Väisänen. Number 9, defensive lineman Caleb Sell. Number 10, running back Ethan Greenfield. Number 11, linebacker Kalle Salonen. Number 12, defensive back Mari Sittonen. Number 15, quarterback Johan Robin. Number 16, wide receiver Aino Hiltonen. Number 18, wide receiver Samuli Isomotonen. This is really testing my Finnish pronunciation.
Yeah.
Number 20, wide receiver Isaac Marshall. Number 22, defensive back Jeri Vartainen. Number 23, defensive back Tuukka Makela. Number 26, they got a large roster. I'll tell you that much. Number 26, linebacker Isaki Eskelinen. Ugh, that's hard to say. Number 27, linebacker Lars Steffen. Number 28, running back Kasper Bakker. Number 29, defensive back Juho Ulonen. Number 30, running back Panu Kinnunen. Number 31, linebacker Tatu Kaikkonen. Number 32, linebacker Jari Kuisama. Number 34, running back Ville Linston. Number 36, wide receiver Mari Rantalankila. Number 42, defensive lineman Lari Sastamoinen. Number 44, linebacker Emily Kirganen. Number 45, defensive lineman Tomi Ropinen. Number 48, defensive back Jona Vartainen. Number 49, linebacker Mikko Hattula. Number 51, offensive lineman Elmuri Sastamoinen. Number 55, linebacker Nilo Jupanen. Jupanen. I think that's how you say that. Yeah. Number 56, offensive lineman Timmy Ikonen. Number 59, linebacker Tony Tuppurainen. Number 62, offensive lineman Nutti Pavola. Number 70, offensive lineman Levi Tolinen. Number 72, offensive lineman Basil Weber. Number 73, offensive lineman Rope Korhonen. Number 77, offensive lineman Riku Pusenius. Yeah, I think that's right. 78, defensive lineman Jona Kieturi. Number 79, offensive lineman Mark Fields. Number 92, defensive lineman Henry Lehtinen. Number 93, defensive lineman Santu Tayaka. Number 97, defensive lineman Mikko Luostarainen. Number 99, defensive lineman, the one, the only, Yanni Lindquist. And that's the roster.
I'm glad you had to read that list, not me.
What I really wanted to do was to be able to say, no one can say we didn't talk about them. We will go through everyone who's on the roster this season before the season starts, and I've attempted to say your name. And if your name ain't on the roster, that ain't my fault. But we will try to get everybody at least. I mean, worst case scenario, at any time you just want to have a clip of your name being said, even if it's butchered, it'll be here on our podcast.
You got the one shout out. You're gonna get at least one shout out.
One. But I wanted to get into this roster. Let's go into the offense, kind of a little bit about what Timmy was talking about. It looks like they brought in a quarterback, they brought in the running back, and brought in an offensive lineman, import-wise, also Basil Weber from Germany. So that there goes a couple of imports on the offense side. But they're heavily going to use the Finnish talent. Noah Cho. Is it Timmy Nuka? Quicka? Was it Timmy? What's his name? I just know Quicka, right? I'm sorry about it. I forgot his first name. Nicholas Quicka. Sorry. I get him mixed up with the other guy from Portville.
Timmy Nuka, you're thinking of there.
Yeah, but Kuika, he's with the K. I know that for sure.
Mm.
So those guys, what are your thoughts about their offensive personnel going into the season, knowing what we know now?
I mean, the big one for me is obviously the signing of Ethan Greenfield. We saw what he did last year. He was ridiculous. He tore the league apart. Like, you put him in this Kuopio offensive line, which has historically been a very, very good offensive line. I know there's some changes this year, but what Ethan Greenfield can do, not only in the run game, but the pass game as well. This guy he's a match winner, and he's going to win you some games, just him on his own. So I'm excited to see what role he's going to play in this offense. And obviously, Timmy touched on it as well, but the lack of imports in their receiving core, they're obviously going with their homegrown guys. They're trusting them. We saw bits from Koika last year. We saw bits from Noah Choate last year. They really come of age, and it'd be interesting to see how they've matured in this offseason and what they bring this season coming up, because I think they're going to grow as players, and we saw flashes of that last year, and hopefully they continue on that path of growth, because I think there's big things to come from these two, definitely in particular.
I agree with you on that. I was just looking at the roster a little bit more. I think that 35 points a game, doable. I think it's doable. I think it helps that they're going to be playing against those Helsinki area teams. I think the Butchers might have something to say about 35 points. But that might honestly be the only defense that legitimately can slow anyone down in this league, because I just don't believe there's a lot of great defenses going on. But one thing that I like about the Steelers is investing in the run game. Bringing in Ethan Greenfield. I don't care who the head coach is. I've seen this will be the third one I've seen since I've been here, because you had why can't I remember his name? He was for so long.
The Anthony Rees-Nover, is that the guy you're thinking of?
No, I was talking about the coaches, but I was going to say it doesn't matter who's coaching this team. The Steelers are going to go get you a running back. And Lee Anthony Rees-Nover is one of the running backs, but there's probably 5 running backs that have been chosen. One thing that they do is they always get a good running back because their offensive line is good. That's one thing that is kind of undervalued, in my opinion, is that when we look at their offensive line, they patch it together. It's not always like a finish line. They usually have a couple of imports from Europe in there, but they focus on that as a go-to. And this year it's very similar. Like, hey, offensive line is going to carry this team, and you're going to have a running back who can do a lot with a little. Ian Greenfield last year in the Roosters, I think we said a couple times, underutilized because Roosters were trying to utilize other players. And I think it was crazy last year because I'm going to say this as well, is we had him ranked higher than Christian Powell as a running back. I mean, it was 1 and 1 and 2. And I mean, all 3 of us agreed that he was the better performer out of the two. Not saying either is better, but having him, anchor the offense for the Steelers really makes it a solid offense. One of those teams that can put up a lot of points. I think 35 is going to be good for them. Going on the defensive side, what are your thoughts over there? I'm not nearly as impressed personally.
No, I'm not as impressed, and I agree with you. We're used to seeing a really good secondary from the Steelers defense, and probably not going to be as strong as what we're used to this year with guys going elsewhere. You've still got guys playing in Germany. You've got guys who have gone elsewhere, maybe retired and stuff, but I don't really know much about these 2 American imports they've got. They've got the defensive lineman and the linebacker. I've not seen much film on them and much tape, but hey, if you've got this job out in Finland, it takes a lot to get signed out there. So they must be showing something on the tape. So it'd be interesting when I get an opportunity to have a look at their film, like what they produce and what they're able to do, because we're always used to this strong Steelers front 7. With the big defensive lineman, Lindquist is always going to be there. He's Steelers through and through. But the other guys that have supported him over the years, guys like Wright, who was in the linebacking core for him a few seasons ago, now in Germany, one of the Americans, and they're missing guys. So it'd be interesting to see how they patch this together. And obviously, Matt Lee's going to be the DC as well, which is his bread and butter. He is a defensive coach, isn't he? So I'm sure he'll get them right. But yeah, I mean, you never know. They could just sign a few more guys. It's not the season yet. Who knows?
True. I'm looking at it, and they have one glaring hole. Like what you said, the secondary isn't what it is. And I mean, who's playing cornerback? Like that's the biggest thing. Is who are gonna be your two corners and how well they're gonna be able to do against some of the top talent in the Maple League. I think having Lars Steffen back at safety, that's great. It's gonna give you a lot of mobility. Because he basically played linebacker last year, though. That's the thing is
he was like nickel linebacker, wasn't he? Kind of.
He was very much down in the box, but that's because they had the other choke back there who isn't there this year. Then they had there was a number 0 CIRN or whatever. He's not there, I guess, according to the roster. So, like you said, they're missing a lot, but it's an opportunity for players to step up. See that Oni Parkey is still there. He's a good corner. That could be their cornerstone guy. I think that he can hold his own against some of the top receivers in the league, but I don't know what you have after him. So it's like the other side of the field. What are you going to do? Like you gotta have what is called booking corners. And I'm not sold on this defense. I think it's going to be a team that gives up as much as they score, so they have to score. You're going to have Ethan Greenfield trying to control the game and basically churn it out so that they don't spend too much time on defense. Because on defense, they have to get after it and be successful, or they're going to be in a lot of shootouts. And I don't think they want to be in a lot of shootouts with any of these teams in the Maple League, because usually shootouts favor the team with a decent defense. And right now, their defense just does not look decent. So I think we'll move on from there, and we'll get into the next team. Okay, so about 2.5 hours in, we've only done 4 teams. We still have 4 teams to go. So going to the next thing, we're going to go to the Tampa Bay Saints. And before we talk about the roster in detail, we're going to bring on Dejan Newell, the wide receiver, running back, assistant coach for the Tampa Bay Saints, and see what he has to say. Let me add the stage.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, Dejan?
Not too much. Just getting back. We had a little 7-on-7 passing day earlier with Uvascula, so just winding down from that.
All right. So we're excited. I wish Q was here because Q was talking very high about you guys last week about what you could possibly do in the Maple League this year. I'm also high on the Saints. I'll say it here live too, is that Saints should have won Division I last year, if not for quarterback injured. Replacement quarterback injured on the first play damn near in the championship game. And then they still almost won the game.
Yeah.
So
and sorry, just to add to that, also then like me being offensive coordinator and play calling, and then Jesse had crutches, so he couldn't come and help like pass game coordinate either. So, but yeah, still shouldn't. I mean, that's like worst case scenario, but it happens. That's life. That's football. So.
Yeah, but now you're here. I mean, you started at the bottom. Now you're here. Tell us a little bit about the Saints team. Like me and Chris, we have a little bit of history. We've seen the Saints. How many years ago was it that they were in the Maple League, Chris?
I don't know, man. Probably like 8 years ago. Was it that long?
No, they were in the Maple League.
2019, maybe? I don't
2019.
remember.
Yeah, 6 years ago. I wasn't far off with 7-8 years.
Wow.
Maybe.
It's been that long.
It's been a while.
Wow.
It's been a long minute, but yeah.
Okay, so if it's actually been a long time, scratch what I was saying, and because I was saying that maybe some people don't know much about the Saints. I guess no one really does, because if it's been over 6 years, people that have been playing in the Maple League for the last half a decade probably don't know much about the team or where you guys are coming from. Tell us a little bit about you guys. Not too much into the scheme, but give us a backstory for the Tampa Bay Saints that we can utilize for people to understand where you guys are coming from going into this season.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, real briefly, I mean, we had kind of been, well, like I started with the Saints in 2016, and I know when I started, that was like one of the first years, like bumping back up to the Maple League, and then bumped down again 2020 season. So there's been a little bit of up and down, and then when we bumped down to D1, we basically have had the same like nucleus, like coaching group. So then one thing we've really like drilled on, agreed on is just development. I mean, so we had like a lot of guys coming up from our junior program. So like for us to be competitive in the Maple League, I mean, we need a good finish roster. That's one thing that we're big on. I mean, we don't have the biggest budget, so we're not going to be bringing in a whole bunch of imports, Americans and EU. So yeah, I mean, we've been very like homegrown. Kind of had same coaching staff. So basically, offense and defense schematically has been the same the last whatever it's been 4 years now. So that's one thing that's been great. I mean, I think of course new guys are still a little bit behind because we do have some like pretty thick playbooks. I mean, I think our playbooks are roughly college level, like in between kind of college and high school. So as far as the guys that have been around, I mean, we know it very good, which helps us be very like multiple. I mean, we could switch things around and add little variations, and it's not too difficult. And kind of with that, like Jesse, our quarterback, this will now be what his third season that he's been with us. So we got really good continuity. So with coaches and players. So yeah. So then this is now our jump up to the Maple League. So we will see how it goes this round. But we're excited. We're hungry. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Chris, did you have a question before I ask my next one? Just throwing it out there.
You touched on it a little bit about homegrown finish, and I've always been a true believer that to be successful in Finland, yeah, okay, it's great that you've got imports, but you have to make sure that your homegrown talent is up to par. You know, what have you done this sort of season to attract those local guys to re-sign with you and step up to the Maple League? Like, what was kind of the deal for them?
I mean, for us, I guess I would just say it's kind of been like our long-term plan. I mean, so it's kind of been a thing for truly 3 years, but really, yeah, 3 years, 3 years that like really we've really preached development, and our whole goal, like if we decided or had to think what 2 years ago when we won D1, if that's something we wanted to do was bump up to the Maple League or not. And I mean, we decided no, we're not quite ready yet. Like if we bump up and just get slaughtered every game, like that's not worth it. And basically until we felt that we would be like, at least for me, playoff like contenders or really push for a playoff spot, I mean, it doesn't make sense for us to move up. So just as far as kind of everyone's been on the same plan for the last 3 years, and I mean, we think well, one reason we think we're ready to bump up, and yeah, so and especially like our young talent. I mean, they want to be in the Maple League like bad ASAP. You know, they got stuff to prove. So kind of for them, it was if we don't bump up, you know, they might go elsewhere. So
Yeah.
kind of not saying that was really a big factor because it really was our plan from the get go. But yeah.
I'm gonna touch on that those young players here in a second. I know what that some random knowledge also is that back in the day, I say back in the day because how many years, Chris? I hope you can remember. How many years has it been since there's been like relegation? We've been like 3 years now. No
Yeah, it's been a
relegation.
while. 3, 4
Yeah,
years since a proper relegation. Yeah.
yeah. But back in the day, when there was like promotion and relegation, and it actually mattered before the Wolverines start tanking it all for everybody. Yeah, I said it. They know it. I've been saying it. They were like they took 2 years off saying it's okay. We can't go down. And even
Yeah.
We
last
can
year,
say it. We both played for them. We can say it. It's fine.
yeah, we can
Yeah.
say it. We played for them. I still think they had the best. Like the snapback I have from the Helsinki Wolverines is still the best one. Which
Yeah, I've
reminds
got
me,
mine as well. I've still got mine.
yeah, I love that hat. I don't have a Saints hat. We need to work on that.
I
You need
got
to
you.
get me one of those, okay? I got some things I want to. I'm trying to declare all the teams. Everybody don't have a hat, so you know what you gonna do.
Mhm.
But
Word.
what I was gonna say about the relegation and promotion was that before it stopped happening, Common a common theme was that the teams that were getting promoted were almost immediately becoming playoff teams. When the Royals got promoted, made the playoffs. When the Steelers got promoted, made the playoffs. I think they lost in the championship and then went on a 3-year run after that or something like that. And then I think the team that came after them, I think the Royals ended up coming back and making the playoffs as a promoted team or something like that. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, somebody comment and let me know. That's fine. But with that, odds on your guys' side that you could be a playoff team this year. A lot of teams in the Maple League, when they decide to become a Maple League team, they're ready. That's how they move up. So the fact that you guys are moving up, after you won Division I previous years and waited before moving up, it's a very smart move, and I think it's going to be. It could be the reason you guys get into the playoffs. But back to y'all's roster, I know the Tampa Bay Saints have great young talent. I love some of this young talent you have, but other people might want to know who these people are. Could you kind of throw out some names and positions of some guys that we could be looking out for this year that are going to help you guys compete in the Maple League?
Yeah. I mean, I'll mainly speak offensively, but like maybe number one, our tight end, Kimi Tuomi. I'm biased, but I think he's the best in Finland. Last year he got hurt, maybe game 2, I think. Liz Frank injury, so I didn't get to show much. And I mean, I know D1 doesn't get taken that serious, so this is kind of his big season to show what he can do. But stretch of a comparison, but somewhat like Penn State's Tyler Warren. I mean, he's very multiple, like blocks very well, runs well, catches the ball great. I mean, big, fast. Really, he can do a lot. So we'll use him like many different ways. Screens, pass game, of course, running. I mean, that's one thing that we've done is been a running team. So, but good blocker. So he's one guy that I definitely want to highlight. Another receiver, Rafael Uotila. I want to get his last name right. Rafa to me, so I don't say his last name too often. But another guy, good athlete, and he has worked. I mean, I can't remember if this is maybe his 4th season now, maybe, but came very raw, great athlete, and he's one guy that like him and Jesse, like throughout all the last few summers, like multiple like practices, time like on the field, nonstop videos, like sending, always asking questions. He's a guy
I got a question on Rafa.
Yep.
How fast do you think he is? No, give me a number. Give me a number, because I've seen him run and pretty fast, and I've been watching some of the flag football from last year, and I remember seeing him. I think it was him leaving Alpha Jalo a couple of times, and I just want to throw that out there. There's some photos I think where he's like Alpha's chasing him, and I'm like, is that what happened? I don't know. If you had to give him a speed number, what would you give him? Give me a 40. I
mean, 40. I don't know. I mean, I'll give him 4.6. He's fast, but he's very like game fast too.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and he's good. Like
that's much faster than most people in Finland.
Yeah, and his stop and go is good, especially off the line. Like he's quick, and I mean he gets in front of you. You're not catching him. So he's fast. I think me and him are probably pretty similar. Me and him did some one-on-ones at the end of the season. Like me playing DB against him, and we were about even on fade balls. But yeah, we go back and forth quite a bit. But yeah,
he's got you with. He's tall though. He's got you on some height though, huh?
Yeah, he's a little taller.
You got the spring. I understand. That's what it is. You ain't have to say it. I understand. You get that little springs. It makes up for it. That, just to toot my own horn. That's how I was back in the day when I used to play. I'm a 5'10" guy, but always had my limit of if you're 6'4" and under, I got you because the vertical is out there.
I saw you in the Turkey Bowl. I saw you.
Oh,
I seen
it.
I seen it.
Hey, a couple
people on notice, Purvis.
2023 Turkey Bowl, we were runner-ups because we were having enough players. We were decent, we just didn't. I could again. I still can't
Gassed,
play for
man.
more
We're
than like 30
gassed.
minutes. Like craziness.
Yeah.
That's the one reason I'll never play organized sports again. I
Mm.
like to take breaks. I can't do it. You guys,
Yeah.
but Dejan, thank you so much for talking to us today. Appreciate you coming on the show. Tell us a little bit about the Saints. It's going to be really good to see you guys, and best of luck to you in the Maple League this season. Oh, and definitely we got to get me a hat.
Yeah, appreciate it. I got you. Can do. So yeah, this was great. Love what you guys do.
Take it easy.
All right. Yep, you too. See ya.
See you later.
All right. Let's get to the roster. All right, now we're going to go over the Tampa Saints roster. And once again, I will be pronunciating this thing from top to bottom. Ooh, it's not as many names. Good or bad, I don't know. All right, let's start on the left. Number 2. Oh, come on. They have last names first and then the first names. Oh. Number 2, quarterback, Tobias Ryalaxo. Oh, he's part Swedish too, so that's really hard to say.
Mouthful.
Yeah. And then number 5, running back, Dejan Newell. And I'm not even sure if I'm saying his name right. I want to say Dejan. Like, that's just how it looks. It could be Dejan. I don't know. Also, number 5, there's 2 number 5 on here. Joona Tuominen, quarterback. Number 7, running back, Matti Araksinen. Oh, Matti Air. He's pretty good, too. Number 9, wide receiver, Nuti Otto. Number 10, quarterback, Jesse Robbins. Number 13, wide receiver, Rafa Uotila. Number 25, wide receiver, Erkki Oyala. Number 30, running back, Eric Tavasti. Number 34, wide receiver, Nuti Tuominen. Didn't I already say his name? Oh, no, I already said
Tuominen. Yeah.
Yeah, I said Joona Tuominen, and I said Nuti Otto. And now I'm saying Nuti Tuominen. Oh, my gosh. Number 35, running back, Consta Mayanpa. Number 67, offensive lineman, Yami Hellenius, I think. Number 71, offensive lineman, Rope Valentin. Number 72, offensive lineman, Lottie Matthias Repanen. Number 73, offensive lineman, Terho Huptanen. Number 80, wide receiver, Kimi Tuomi. Number 81, wide receiver, Christian Koivisto. Number 82, wide receiver, Iro Irmala. Number 86, wide receiver, Yuso Alakoski. Number 89, wide receiver, Otto Laine. And then wide receiver, Jere Markkinen. I'm just going to stop on the offense because that's the offense, and then we'll just talk about them, and then I'll do the defense. That would be easier for me because those names are killing me. They have a lot of, like, difficult names. They're out there in Moro. That's called Tampa. Moro. What are your thoughts about that? What are your thoughts about this offense and what they could be capable of?
I mean, it's a bit of an unknown commodity because I don't know a lot about these guys. I didn't really watch. Like, I watched the championship game last year, but I didn't really see a lot of their guys, so I don't really know much about them. So it's unknown to me. I know their quarterback's good. Like, he's a good quarterback. I don't think he was on that roster, was he?
Jesse Robbins. He's on
was
the
his
roster.
name on there? Was Jesse's name on
he's
there?
one of the first name.
Okay.
Let me see. What number is he?
11 he wore last year, I think.
He's number 10 on this roster. Jesse Robbins.
So I know he's good, but unknown commodities with the rest of them. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. But I like the fact that they're going with a lot of Finnish guys. And I was saying it to Dejan as well. Like, you find the teams that have the most success in the history of the most success are the ones with the good Finnish background. You know, they've got the good Finnish guys, and they've waited. They've had that plan. They feel like they're ready now. And I'd love to see these guys in the playoffs. I'd love to see that very loaded Finnish roster be able to get there. So, yeah, I mean, I can't really say much about them, if I'm honest. I don't really know much about them. So I'll let you take the floor.
Yeah, I can say a little bit because I watched them play twice last year, and both times they played against the East City Giants. So those two teams are now going to be in the Maple League. I did my due diligence a year before, and what I can say about that team was I was impressed, and I said it. I even said it last year in the podcast that I believe they should have been in the Maple League. I wasn't so high on the East City Giants. We'll talk about them later today. But the thing I liked about this team is their offensive line was good. Their defense was great. And they could put up points in multiple ways. The thing that Jesse Rollins did really well that I didn't expect, I watched him the year before as well in Division I, and he's a bigger quarterback, which makes you think that, he's not a mover, but he is a mover. He's a mobile quarterback. And not only is he a mobile quarterback, he's the running back type of mobile. So you can have design runs for him, and he's going to make you pay for it. Like, he's going to be able to finish those runs. He's not doing too much sliding. He'll go out of bounds when it's not necessary. He can get you a lot of yards, but he also can drop back, throw plays in time, and throw receivers open. I think that's what's really going to set him apart with this team is you have a lot of like young skill players, but he can guide them to wherever they need to be. Like, he's going to be able to put them in the right spot so that they don't have to do anything but, run their route, get open, and then he's going to be able to maneuver them how he wants to. And like Dejan was talking about on the interview is that both Dejan and Jesse help with the offensive coordinating, with the pass game, coming up with where people are going to be open, how they're going to be open. Having this guy been here for 3 years, he's going to be able to dictate what they do well and what they don't do well and be able to limit the mistakes that they'll have. He'll be able to assess, like, hey, we're not going to win this matchup this week because they have this, this, and this. And the receivers, all you have to do is, run your routes, get open. And I think they have the talent to do that. So I'm excited that they're bringing in a very, finished roster. But with him and Dejan kind of leading that group and them having chemistry and continuity, they're not going to be, behind the 8 ball like a lot of these teams are. There's other teams in the Maple League, and let me talk names, like Sinioki Crocodiles, Helsinki Wolverines, even Kuopio Steelers to a degree, where there's a lot of changes and movement on the offensive side this year that is going to take time to get adjusted, to get on the same page in game. The Saints really have that issue. Yeah. The Maple League is different than Division I, but let's keep it a buck. Football is football. There's not going to be a huge speed difference going from college to NFL. It's not that kind of difference for Division I and Division and Maple League. The biggest difference is there's more talent on the field. But this team was talented enough last year, I think, to play in the Maple League. They would have beat the Wolverines and UNC last year. So with that kind of talent pool to bring them up this year, I think they'll be able to make some noise. I think playoffs might be a stretch just because they don't have enough imports. And it's just one of those things sometimes you just need that guy that is only here to play football. And I think they're going to get in situations where they're like, man, we had this or if we had that, we'd be there. But offensively, I think they'll be able to pretty much compete with everybody. I think they'll put up a lot of points. Let me take that back. I don't think they'll put up a lot of points. I think they'll be efficient. I think they'll score when they're supposed to score. They'll get in situations where they can be effective and they'll move the ball. I don't think they're going to be a 35, 40-point a game team, but I think that when they play teams that don't know how to stop them, they will run the score. So let's go to the defensive side.
Read the defense. I'm going to do something for 2 seconds. I'll let you read the defense while you read the defense.
Fine. Let me go back to reading the defense. Oh, this is a different view. Okay, this is the view I was going for. All right, on the defensive side, we have number 4, defensive back, Kuro Conerva. Number 12, linebacker, Rope Yuko. Number 14, linebacker, Matthias Letio. Number 20, linebacker, Nicholas Ryloxo, that's the twin. Number 24, defensive back Severi Hamalainen. Number 26, defensive back Eero Hakkinen. Number 29, linebacker Janne Sulin. Number 33, defensive back Juho Angarvo. Number 39, linebacker Kalle Vasanen. Number 44, defensive back Riku Hakka. Number 50, linebacker Otto Newton. Number 91, defensive lineman Lari Ilkainen. Number 96, defensive lineman Juuso Minkkinen. Number 99, defensive lineman Henry Ilkainen. Defensive back Rasmus Mäkinen. Number 23, Oiva Bakari. Number 41, Tommy Turinen. Number 61, Tobias Ratu, I think is how you say it. And then we have Nico Parti, Luka Koskenkanto, and Santu Salmi. I'm just going to say it. Most of those names mean nothing.
Yeah. I caught the last end of that. I had to go move my car. I was getting shouted at.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I don't. There are a lot of unknown commodities there I've never heard of before. So it's a real unknown with the Tampa Saints. I mean, hey.
Before we go into it, let me catch up because Dejan just sent a message saying that the roster is super old, which I figured it was. Y'all need to update y'all's rosters online so we can do this better. Because trying to figure it out other ways is too much work. But
what I was just saying about before you move on, while just touching on that, like the social media of some of these teams, man, they need upgrading. The Senioki Crocodiles, man.
I'm glad you said it. Senioki be scared. Like they scare me on their social media when I see like Spencer Cutland on there. I'm like, oh no, he's back. And I'm like, oh, it's a throwback. I'm like, why? Why random? Like they'll like have like a photo or something from like 1996 and be like, hey, he wore number 12. Today is the 12th. What? And also, I think they're the team that when they do like interviews after the games or before the games, they put up a photo and say live interview. It's like, where's the video? There's no video. They put up a photo that says video. I'm like confusing. But I will leave Senioki alone. We got to talk about them at some point. But getting back to the Saints, I was going to mention this too, is that they actually have another running back. Let me see the name. David Chavez Jimenez, number 6. Now, he is a beast. And I remember him distinctly from last year because when Jesse went down, like he ended up having to carry the load. And he was faster than everybody else in Division I. I don't know why, but that's just how I felt. Like he would get the ball and just outrun the entire defense to the edge. But he could also get in between the tackles. So their offense is going to have some staying power. I think that's what he's going to bring to them is that they'll be able to get tough yards sometimes because he's a in between the tackle and outside runner. He won't be able to run as well outside in the Maple League, but I think he has great vision that'll translate. But on the defensive side, I know the names mean nothing to you, but a lot of these kids actually do know. I've seen them play. I've seen them in different situations. A lot of them have talent, but I don't know if a lot of them have Maple League talent. I think that's where they're going to be a little bit behind is trying to compete against some of these like import-heavy offenses with finished talent on defense at key positions. Cornerback, safety, even on the defensive line front. I don't know if maybe they're going to add some imports. Obviously, they will, like if they can, but I don't know how much they can add because they're going to have the American quarterback. I think the Chavez kid is an import, and then Dejan isn't an import, but I think that he might end up playing some defense for them that would be helpful. But other than that, their defense is going to be where it's going to be hard for them to try to keep up with teams. I think a little different than the Steelers, though. I think it won't be one of those they get scored on a lot. I think it's one of those their defense will adjust. I think they'll get better as the season goes, and they'll be able to figure stuff out. But I think they're going to be a team that gives up big plays, and that's going to be the difference a lot of times. I don't think they'll get ran over. I think their players are good. Their linebacker core, their secondary is good, but good gets beat. And when you get beat, it's one of those situations they'll learn. Yeah, they'll learn from getting beat in the game, but it won't take away the fact that you got beat. It's like you give up a 60-yarder in the first quarter, and then you don't give up anything for the rest of the game, but then you lose because they scored a 60-yarder. Like that's how I think that it's gonna happen. They're gonna get beat in some situations, and then it'll just be that is. I think that's what keeps them from the playoffs is they need more imports. I think that's always the case. If you don't have enough imports, it's hard to win in the Maple League.
So, yeah, some teams just don't have the budget like that, though, do they? So you just, and I know you can get some guys cheap, but they're cheap for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we'll move to the next team, which I don't know who the next team is. What team do you want to do next? I'll just look up that roster.
So Roosters, Crocs, and Butchers you did last week. We've just done Steelers and Saints.
So we got 2 teams left, right?
So we got the Royals, Wolverines, and Giants.
How do we have 3 teams left? How many teams are there?
8.
And we've only done 5.
Yeah, you did the Roosters, Crocs, and Butchers last week.
No, we've
just done the Saints and the Steelers.
Yeah. Let's go. We just did the Saints, did the Steelers. Yeah, let's go Royals. I'm feeling Royals. I'm pretty sure the roster's out of date too, but let's go Royals. We can be quick with these next couple of teams because let's be honest. Okay, I don't have a lot of names for the Royals, so that's good too. All right, so going with the Royals, we have number 1 wide receiver Ronnie Vienamaki. Number 2 defensive back Victor Mentu. Number 4 quarterback Elias Hapamaki. Number 6 defensive back Karim Limam. Number 8 defensive back Alpha Jallo. Number 11, wide receiver, Kelvin Godwin. Number 15, wide receiver, Jonathan Bertela. Number 17, wide receiver, Vetti Makela. Number 18, wide receiver, Ami Lindfors. Number 19, defensive back, Vetti Lepinen. Number 24, wide receiver / kicker, Dante Shatkami. Number 27, defensive back, Vigo Ronlund. Number 28, running back, Ive Ntumba. Number 29, defensive back, Casper West. Number 32, running back, Jarkko Savalainen. Number 36, running back, Aaron Luomala. Number 40, running back, Tom Swosti. Number 44, defensive end, Samu Hattala. Number 45, running back, John Bejic. Number 53, offensive lineman, Vino Numbaka. Number 58, defensive line, Matthias Koss. Number 60, offensive line, Yoni Kuya. Number 61, defensive line, Asper Stagnas. Number 66, defensive lineman, Alexander Derisha. Number 73, offensive lineman, Riku Sarla. Number 74, offensive lineman, Jan Finne. Number 88, wide receiver, Tony Tienvieri. Number 90, defensive lineman, Axel Arvila. Number 99, defensive lineman, Anton Silfer. Okay. So before we get too much into the roster, let's just make one thing known. They don't ever announce their imports until the last minute, like before the season. And I don't keep up with
some on Instagram. So there's some on Instagram. So we've got Leonardo Sofilis, who we did see last year at receiver, but went to the ELF. He's back at the Royals now, so he's signed for the Royals. So you've got him. They've signed a tight end wide receiver called Gabe Quigley. And they've put 2 offensive linemen in there. They've put Darius Hicks and Byron Russell. I don't understand how they can have both of those guys if they're both Americans. So maybe one of them's dual passport or something. I don't know. But they haven't announced their quarterback yet. So Lord knows who's playing quarterback for them this year.
I thought they were sticking with the Finnish kid.
Are they?
I thought that was the plan. I know remember they ended the season with him last year, and a lot of people had said that they were going to, bring him back the next year as a quarterback.
So if that's the case, then that makes sense. If they've gone with 2 offensive linemen and the tight end wide receiver, that's their 3 Americans.
Exactly. I think
and then they've got Sifilis as well, who we know what he can do. Like, he looked class last year before he went to the LF. So,
that's the guy that played.
He was UNC. He was with the UNC
Okay,
Crusader.
I was gonna say that's the guy that was with UNC. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And obviously Alpha's Alpha. Alpha's going to do what Alpha does. They've listed him as a DB, but he's going to play offense as well, surely.
Well, he can't play offense at the tight end.
Does he count as American? Does he count as American still? Okay, well,
I think so. I think this was his last year of being an American.
Okay. Well, maybe they have some sort of package where they can take one guy out and put him in anyway. So,
yeah,
I'm sure we'll see number 8 on offense at some point this year.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts about what they've done? It looks like. I mean, even with those names, what are you thinking about the roster?
I mean, I like the fact that they've bolstered their offensive line because that was weak last year. Their O-line was weak, so they've gone with the 2 American offensive linemen. So I like the fact that they've done that. Obviously, Tom Swost has been there, done that. So you've got a good offensive lineman.
Legend.
Give this guy the ball because he's going to tote the rock. And following these big guys up front, if you've given him an offensive line, maybe that's the way that they go. They go to the running game, but then they've signed 2 import receivers. So obviously they think highly of their quarterback. I mean, we didn't see massive amount of him last year, performing at a high standard unless he somehow developed really well. But then again, we've seen it with other quarterbacks in the league who were Finnish, who've either gone other places or just another year on, they're much better. So hopefully we've seen some maturity from him and some graduation, and he's going to be able to get these 2 playmakers the ball. So, yeah, I'm excited to see the Royals this year. It's interesting that they're not going with an American import QB. It's quite a different tact, let's say.
Yeah.
You don't often see that with the 2 offensive linemen being American. Usually they only bring the 1 in since that rule's come into play where they were allowed the extra guy, but on the offensive line. So they've gone with the 2 offensive linemen, which is an interesting tactic.
I was going to say some things, and then as you talked, I started thinking other things. I like where you went about the tactic. I think interesting is one word, but I would use the word naive. I think no, I take that back. I want to use a different word. I'm going to use a more charged word. I would say arrogant. I think it's arrogant to think that your team is so good at those skill positions that you don't need any legitimate A imports, if that makes sense. You're saying that your Finnish quarterback, Finnish running back, and European receiver are going to be good. Basically, you're saying they're the quality of most teams, which would make all 3 of those positions American or North American import or whatever you want to call it, A import. So that's what they're saying. They're saying that our team is that good. Now, when I say that, we've talked about some of these teams, and you're like, well, they believe in them. They believe in the quarterback. That's awesome to believe in him. But this is the same team that last year, all we heard about was, they're going to have this guy, these receivers, all these guys are going to step up and do this, this, and this. And what did we see last year? We saw Alpha Jallo carrying a team that didn't give him any help. And that was with the import quarterback. And they had those same receivers. I'm sorry, but this roster looks almost the exact same from the Finnish players, except for the offensive line. They're bringing the same young receivers who all got injured last year and disappeared. I know you remember the clip of where's the receivers from Chris Green last year.
That was my clip. Where are the damn receivers in Vasa?
Yeah. And so what they've done is they said, we're going to double down on these 19-year-old kids, and we're going to put them in the same situation we did last year with a quarterback who is not as experienced as what we had last year. And there's no get out of jail free card because we can't have Alpha on the field all the time. And also, I mean, obviously, I think the American at tight end, that could be a receiver type for them. But let's be realistic, in the Maple League, a tight end position is not going to be able to make the impact that you need offensively in the passing game anyways. Maybe he's a great blocker, I don't know. And maybe just line up Swoste and run the ball. But to me, it's really saying that, oh, we're that good. And I'll say this, I don't know if I said it recently last year, but you haven't been, ever since the Royals have come back to the Maple League, they've been mid. Like, they haven't been good. They've been almost playoff team. That's it. Like, they've been almost. We've had situations where we thought they were a playoff team, then they just don't make it.
I'm just trying to
think they did make it one year.
The last time they went to the ship, I think it was 2017.
Oh yeah, it was way back when John
when Sotomayor was playing. Yeah,
yeah.
He was playing
that's a different team. That's not a team full of young Vasa players, which this team still is. Which this team, since they moved up from Division I, have not done anything relevant. Yet they keep doubling down on their finished roster. And that's what it seems like. It seems like they're very like, okay, we're going to make it work with this finished roster. And then that's not talking about the defense. Let's go to the defense. What defense? Alpha can't play all 11 positions. I'm sorry. But the defensive line, I think, is going to be average. I mean, they haven't said which imports they have on defense yet, huh?
As far as I can see, no. I'm looking through their Instagram now.
So there should be.
I haven't seen any announcements.
Well, obviously, if Alpha's on the field, they're probably going to bring in either a D lineman or a linebacker, which is fine because that's what they do every year, and their defense is mid every year. They have a lot. They have a lot of secondary players from Vasa that have been playing in the Maple League. They have some of those kids. I'm not going to call these kids out, but some of those players have been playing in the Maple League since they've gotten in the Maple League, and they're just average. Like they're not going to change the game for them, and they can't play against the top imports that they're going to see. And what happens every year is that defense has some type of hole. They'll have a good secondary, but the safety isn't good in one spot, or their nickel backer can't play against slots, or their cornerback can't play against a number 2 receiver. Like they always have like a hole somewhere in that secondary because they don't feel it. And then they bring in Alpha, and that's great, but he doesn't necessarily fill the hole. He just helps the defense. And then up front, Darisha, I really liked him last year, and I think that he's going to be a star in this league if he keeps playing. But they don't have enough up front. They don't have enough. We saw it a couple years ago when they had Artis, where he was getting triple teamed, but nobody was getting sacks. They have 3 people on one person. Somebody is free, and they don't have anybody getting to the ball. And then with the linebacking core, I guess they're going to probably have Victor Mantu come in and play linebacker like he did last year a little bit, play outside linebacker a little bit for him. I think he might have played inside some. But I think the linebacker core is going to be okay. But again, it's just mid. And I think it's very arrogant of them not to put some firepower on the offense, knowing that they're probably going to give up points. And they're going to have to score to keep up with these teams, even though they could go the route of they were going to hand it off to Swoste and do 3 yards cloud of dust. But overall, from what it looks like they're going to do this year, I'm not impressed. But also, I mean, it's the Royals. You never can count them out. Again, the epitome of mid is the Wausau Royals. Like they will toe the line. At some point this year, we're going to be like, Wausau Royals are a playoff team. And then at another point, we're going to be like, this team is trash. And when you even it out, it's the middle. That's where they always land. So I was not planning to say that. I love doing the show live because it just lets me talk.
Anything could happen. Anything.
Yeah, anything. All right, we'll move to another team now. Let's see. All right. What are we thinking next? Do we do
got two
another?
teams. We got the Wolverines and the Giants.
So we have two Helsinki teams left. Let's go East City Giants and save the Wolverines for last, so we can just quick be done with that. This is gonna work out. We got enough time. This is gonna work out. All right, I have East City Giants. Again, this is just their online roster. It could be wrong, but that's not our fault, guys. We did what we could.
Yeah, they posted this on Instagram in October, I think.
Yeah,
This roster.
I just went to the websites, and a lot of them hadn't been updated since like February or something. And in all honesty, it's a lot of work to go and get an updated roster. So we're not doing it. And I did go find the rosters and like copy and paste it all together so I can see the names and stuff. So, I mean, just keep yourself up to date. That's what I would do. But, whatever they want to do. Oh, there's a lot of names. So, these are hard to read, too. Okay, quarterback, Neo Niemanen. Oh, they don't have numbers. That's not great because I'm not going to know what positions they are. I only know numbers. And next quarterback, Raina Stewart, the third. That's going to be the import.
Yeah, he's American.
Next quarterback, Julio Vala. That's the young guy. And then at the running back positions, they have Tuana Bibani, Artu Blomqvist, Patrick Lindbergh, Anton Norta. And then for the receivers, they have Kalle Ahonen, Lari Hattala, Jeri Humpy, Oli Kibalo, Oni Kopanen, Yanni Loro, Muntazar Mansour, Nico Mietunen, Joel Pakarinen, and Daniel Rubenstein. Oh, offensive line. We got Roni Elaranta, Eli Himilai. I don't know how to say your name, Eli. Joel Laksonen, Vetti Payu, Aran Pakarinen, Michael Pilgrim, Nolan. Oh, no, that's defensive backs. Never mind. I just want to stop with offense. So that's the offensive players. Do any of these names mean anything to you, Chris?
So the quarterback, just done a bit of research on him previously. He's a D3 guy, and historically the D3 guys seem to do better in Finland.
Mm-hmm.
And he played in GFL 2 before for the Wild Dogs. So he's had experience in Europe already. And I think by the looks of things, his team had a 9-1 record, and they got promoted this year to GFL 1. So
he
must be legit. He must be legit. I didn't see any of the GFL games last year, but he must be legit. So I'm excited to see him play and what he can do. But who's he going to throw to? Who's he going to throw to?
Hold on now. Now let me jump in here because, I said, I watched 2 Division I games last year, and those Division I games were East City Giants versus the Saints in the regular season, where the Saints mopped East City Giants, matter of fact. And then in the finals, where East City Giants got the win. And what I noticed from the East City Giants team that season was that, first of all, shout out to Shay Netter, because he was doing any and everything for the offense. And a lot of times he was under duress, which meant that offensive line was not very good. And I don't know if we named any Americans on this offensive line, but hopefully they bring in some help, because they're going to need some help if they want to compete on the offensive line up front. But
they have.
Secondly,
they've signed it. So just while you're on that, they've signed an offensive lineman His name is Jared Almeida, and
Okay.
he is an NAIA guy from the University of
Okay.
St. Francis Cougars.
Oh, that's fine. That's
There you
fine.
go.
They just need help. Like, I don't think the offensive line was bad, but I do think that like it was missing maybe one or two like solid pieces so they could protect the quarterback. If they're able to protect their quarterback, what I saw a lot of was, I mean, obviously Shea has a cannon for an arm, so he was putting the ball downfield, and a lot of times when he put it down there was a couple receivers open. Wasn't a lot of catching. I'll give you that. Not a lot of catching. So I guess I'm because now I'm trying to remember what happened. I was gonna say, yeah, they got some guys that can catch. I can remember so many like good throws and being open, but now I remember that it was a lot of drops also and not catching the ball. But I want to jump back into my original thoughts and say, look out for Daniel Rubenstein, young gun. Uh, he spent the last 2 years, I think, in the United States playing high school football over there. One thing that we don't know about him is that he's been playing in the Maple League for the Butchers. I think he's like number 17 or something like that. And remember there was a summer, I want to say last summer, where I think Lucas Erler or somebody got hurt, and the Butcher receivers, like he came in the middle of the summer and was a starting receiver and helped their receiving corps. And he has that kind of ability. Like if you put him on the field, he's legitimately a contributor to your offense. And I think if they're able to utilize him, I don't think he's a true number one. So that's going to be a little tough because they don't have a number one. But if they're able to get Daniel involved in their offense, they have a way to get points. And I think that that's something they could do. Again, if their offensive line does better, their running back, what's the guy's name? Bloomquist. I remember Bloomquist. He runs hard, has pretty good vision, and has decent speed. So they have a legitimate like running attack. If they're able to control the ball game, run play action, I think play action into the running back and getting it to someone like Daniel or any of those other receivers they've developed a little bit. I don't know what the offseason been. Maybe they learned how to catch. Who knows? Again, a lot of what I saw last year was drop balls on deep passes. So maybe they're a mid type of team. Like they need, in cutting routes in the middle of the field, digs, curls, crossers, stuff like that. Maybe that's how you get them comfortable catching the ball, catching it on the run. Maybe they get some yak. I think that they'll be able to make a little bit of noise. I don't think they're going to be good enough to do a lot offensively, but I think we're going to see a more consistent look than we saw from UNC last year, if that makes any sense. And for that, UNC was streaky. Like there was times where like, oh man, they can really score, and the other times like, why are we even here? Why are we watching paint dry? So I think that this team is a team that they're going to be able to move the ball. They're going to be able to make plays, but I don't think they have the talent to compete on the offensive side. So now we go through this defensive roster. All right, defensive back. Nolan Bernat. Is it Bernat or Barat? I can't tell if it's R in, but he used to play for the Roosters. I remember who he is.
Bernat.
Okay. Defensive back. Juho Haapala, also defensive back. I'm naming all defensive backs. Emily Hassanen, Vladi Hashko, Kasper Kallas, Vetti Kopanen, Miro Malinen, Alfonso Messina, Kevin Sweetie. That's all my defensive backs. Defensive linemen, we got Taneli Hani, Alexander Hutaniemi, Jussi Jalkanen, Jaakko Jalkanen, Otsoloki, Tripality, Etu, Rantala, Gabriel Santos, Vaino Turinen, Apo Vaino, Miro Vixton. Those are your defensive line. And then your linebackers, you have Santeri Lettala, Panu Moilanen, Capo Peltola, Leo Repo, and Felix Salonen. And that's your defense. Do any of those names mean anything to you?
No, apart from Burnett, I remember him playing for the Roosters 3 years ago, I think, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No,
3 years
okay.
ago. Yeah, I remember him playing for the Roosters, and he did well with them. So, yeah, interesting to see him back. I was just reading up on what he's done in the meantime, and he went to play Brazil and in indoor league in the States, the Gillette Mustangs. Yeah,
Cool.
So interesting to see him back in the league. I know he pulled out when he was over here with the Roosters three years ago, so he's one to watch, definitely. The other guy I looked at here, I don't know if he went to the States. Alexander Hautinemi, defensive lineman.
I'm not sure. Maybe. I don't know.
I think he went somewhere by the looks of things.
Okay.
So he's going to be an interesting one to watch as well. A Finnish dude, but it looks like he went either to the States or like some Canada prep team or something like that. By the looks of things. So he'll be an interesting one to watch. But then the rest of it, again, unknown. I didn't really watch E-City Giants last year, so yeah, I mean, we just never know with these teams that are coming up what you can expect from them. But they're going to be young. They're going to be hungry. You can definitely count on that.
I'm going to say I feel like very similar to what the Saints defense looks like. Again, from my standpoint, I do know some of these like names, and I know them playing in the lower divisions. I don't see the talent play in the Maple League, but it also is one of those things, playing in the Maple League means you're a Maple League player. So even if I say they don't have the talent, technically they do have the talent because they'll be in the Maple League this year. But I don't see a lot on the defensive side that warrants them doing much besides being scored on. Having Nolan is helpful on the defensive front. I don't think there's going to be a lot he can do to stop what's going to happen to them. I don't think they're going to be able to hold the line. I think their defensive line won't be able to stand up to anything. Do they have an American coming? That would be helpful. I think that would be helpful if they do have an import coming on the defensive line front. That would make their defense average. But if they don't, it looks like tissue paper all the way through. Like I don't see them stopping anything, anybody with the guys that they have. And like you said, they're going to be hungry. I think they're going to show effort. It's going to be a good team. I think they're going to give you the effort that you want. But I don't think that they're going to be able to compete defensively. I don't think they're going to be able to stop a lot of teams from doing what they want. They might be able to slow people down, but I don't think they're going to be a creating turnovers type of team. I think they're going to be getting experience trial by fire, which means there'll be a lot of burning before they get any better. But, it is what it is. Good luck to them.
Yeah, good luck to them.
Yeah, that's all I can really say. All right, we have one more team. We made it. Oh, I didn't think we would. Well, actually, I did think we would. Some of these teams we don't talk about nearly as much as the rest. Let's see. Okay. So let me pull up the Wolverines roster. Okay, so their roster it's not even in number order. It's just names.
Is it in surname alphabetical order? Yeah, it's in surname alphabetical order.
No, it's first name. First, then last.
Yeah. So their surname
alphabet. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Surname means nothing to me. I'm sorry. Always confused.
Last name.
Last. I know. I'm typical American. Sorry, but it is what it is. The interesting thing with surnames is like since I've lived here for a while now, like my surname, I'm a junior, so my name is Purvis, but I'm a junior. My father was a senior. And I usually have to write Purvis Jr. as my surname because they don't have suffixes. And that was something I had to figure out. There was a lot of times I'm trying to like use my ID or something, and I'm writing in my name, and they can't find my name because I just put in Purvis because that's my last name, my surname. But then I found out that technically my surname is the Junior as well, which a little confusing, but it makes sense. So let's go down to Wolverine's alphabetical surnames. So I guess I'll just say name and then position. Well, should I do position then name? Let's do position then name. Defensive back, Brian Apia. Defensive lineman, Antti Arvole. Oh, that's hard to say. There's a lot of, it says A-U-E. I can't pronounce that. Defensive back, Janne Eklund. Running back, Jonathan L. Olastif. Jonathan is what I call him. Quarterback, Teemu Hatakangas. Defensive lineman, Jonas Heikkinen. Wide receiver, Joel Hintonen. Defensive back, Augusti Hugots. Defensive back, Jarmo Hurulainen. Defensive back, Joona Yakanaho. Offensive lineman, Emil Yahanen. Defensive lineman, Juho Josmaki. Defensive lineman, Antti Juvonen. Defensive lineman, Santtu Jaskalainen. Running back, Alexi Kauppanen. Offensive lineman, Kimmo Korpanoho. Defensive lineman, Pietri Koskiniemi. Quarterback, Rasmus Laulo. Quarterback, Rope Lauden. Defensive lineman, Iro Leonen. Offensive lineman, Jasper Lindquist. Offensive lineman, Turo Lipponen. Offensive lineman, Emil Lofgren. Offensive lineman, Juha Mulula. Linebacker, Elmer Namanki. Linebacker, Rope Nieminen. Defensive lineman, Nilo Oyayarvi. Defensive back, Safiso Salaba. Wide receiver, Mitro Sutalainen. Offensive lineman, Manu Topala. Wide receiver, Matthias Tuominen. Defensive back, Capo Vihua. All right. Look, don't y'all say I didn't try. That's why you asked me why I don't speak Finnish. I just explained it in these first 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's why it's a difficult language. There's a few obviously guys that they're not on that roster that they've announced as signing as well. So they've got Jonas Heikkinen, who's come back from playing a stint out for the Berlin Rebels in Germany. So he's come back. Alvin Reels Jr. is coming back as well for them, as far as I'm aware. Jacoby Reddick as well, who played in the league before as well. So Jacoby Reddick.
Yeah.
And we've seen bits from him. And then Tyron Dixon, who was at the UNC Crusaders last year, defensive lineman.
Yeah.
So they've got a few notable imports there that they have picked up. So there's a few guys to build around. But my question is Rasmus playing quarterback for you, or are you going to sign a guy? Because Rasmus is not the one. I'm sorry. We've seen it. We've said it before. Maple League. I know I get at the poor guy, but he's not. He's a great Division I quarterback, right? Great Division I quarterback. He's not.
I think he was MVP in Division I when he was there. Pretty sure he was MVP.
Good Division I quarterback. I'm sorry, not cutting it in the Maple League. It's tried and tested. It's not worked. They have to go elsewhere. If they don't, they ain't going to be anywhere near the playoffs. It don't matter who you sign. It don't matter if you got Jacoby Reddick or wherever. If you can't get him the ball, what can you do? I don't know. I get on Rasmus a lot, but
I know I'm not nearly as low on Rasmus as you are. Gosh, killing that man. But I like Rasmus, and I think that I agree that he shouldn't be the Wolverines quarterback. A little bit different reasoning for me. And again, it's not his play. I think he's shown at times like he understands where the ball should go. Sometimes he can get it there. He's not a great thrower, but he is very efficient at knowing when and where to put the ball. but he looks like he's a chicken with his head cut off out there because he's usually running for his life or
he's a deer in the headlights. He's deer in headlights. Yeah. Bambi on ice.
And I don't think that's his fault. I think it's the fault of the team not ever giving him any help. Like their offensive line blocks nobody. And that's the issue is that to your point, if you brought in an American, that American would have the tools and experience to make up for that lack of offensive lineman. Rasmus doesn't have that. Like it's just not in his skill set. And so you're doing him a disservice by not getting him the proper protection and lineman that he needs. And that's the Wolverines, which is where I'm always going to lay the blame on this organization is what they put out on the field is not going to be good enough to get it done. And going back to the imports that you named, last year you had 4 imports. And I mean, you had 3 imports, and then you had your boy at receiver. I already forgot his name. I can't believe that because it's been so long. On the offensive side, him and Will Young towards the end of the season. What was his name? Tell me his name, dude. I don't know. I don't want to forget his name. The receiver from the UK.
From Wolverines.
Yeah, from Wolverines.
Oh, Kevin.
They played last year. Kevin Adams. Yeah.
My guy.
I just forgot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just slipped my mind his name because I haven't said it in so long. But Kevin Adams and Will Young were the Wolverines offense last year. A running back who also played receiver, and then your go-to receiver who was catching 80% of Rasmus' passes were going to him, and he was catching them no matter what was going on. He was catching the ball. So you replace that with
Kevin's a bowler, man.
Yeah.
The guy's
so
got
you replace that with no running back because Will Young was the EU, and then you replace the receiver with Jacoby Reddick, and no diss to Jacoby Reddick, but he's not the same type of receiver that Kevin Adams was. Jacoby Reddick is a speedster. He can make plays, but you have to get him the ball in specific spots, and they're not going to be guaranteed to do that. Like with the Crocodiles, remember last year with the Crocodiles beginning of the season, you didn't know Jacoby Reddick was on the team.
No, he was nowhere to be seen, and then he put me on notice.
He didn't work in the flow of the offense, but once they started getting him the ball, he made his plays and he did okay. But also they had a lot of weapons, so he was not the go-to guy. Now you put him in a situation where he's going to try to prove that he is the go-to guy, and maybe he is the go-to guy, but not in Helsinki. Like that ain't never going to work because they're not going to guard anybody else, buddy. You the only one going to get guarded. I'm not guarding anybody else. They have other receivers. I'm not guarding. Matter of fact, they don't have their best like finish receiver was Continent.
Yeah.
He's playing for Butchers now. So you don't even have your best receiver to like help him out. Like everyone they have is someone who's been around but isn't necessarily one of their better receivers. And then you still have Rasmus who doesn't have the situation to get you the ball accurately as much as possible. It's not Temple. And then on the defensive side, having Alvin Reels back, that's helpful. That's great. He had a crap load of tackles last year. He'll probably have a crap load of tackles this year because he's the only one making the tackles. And that's awesome. But that ain't going to stop teams from scoring points. I mean, maybe they have Alvin play offense sometimes. I don't know how that might help them, but it also just makes him more fatigued. Maybe Jacoby plays defense sometimes, but again, just more fatigue.
Is Alvin still an A? Or is he?
I think so.
He's still an A.
I think so.
Maybe it might be his third or fourth year. It's like his third or fourth year, isn't it?
Yeah, but they had him play some running back last year as well. So there's ways to do it with packages. Yeah. I'm not saying like be a running back, but bringing in Tyron Dixon on the defensive line, that's helpful. But he's going to find out very quickly that it sucks to be the best lineman on a bad team. I mean, actually, he found that out last year for UNC. He was the best lineman on that bad team. He switched
run away from or double teamed every play.
He traded Lohia for Helsinki. I ain't mad at you. That's still an upgrade. At least in your free time, you're in Helsinki, but you get the same result of a team that can't really support you and help you become the best version of yourself. Hopefully, they're paying them more. I don't know. I'm not gonna pocket watch. But, defensively, they look almost the same. You saw what happened last year. Actually, the defense wasn't bad last year. Defense was a strong point for them last year.
Salama was good. We talked about him a lot last year in the defensive
Yeah, he stepped up.
Young defender stepped up, did well.
Yeah,
so
they did well defensively. I think they can hold their own defensively again. But it goes back to the point that we started with, is that if your offense can't put up points, the defense can only hold for so long. I don't think that they have the numbers to really be playing these games for their own defense for 70, 80 snaps, because your offense is probably going 3 and out because you got to throw the ball to get it to Reddick. Ooh, that's an interesting aspect. Maybe Reddick plays running back.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
He has a skill set for it. Like he's the type of slot receiver he is more compatible.
Yeah, he's a slot receiver return guy, isn't he? So he's elusive with the ball in his hands.
Yeah. Like he's the guy that you get the jet sweep to type of guy.
Yeah.
I'm comparing him to like a Tyreek Hill type, just so you can put that out there. Like Tyreek Hill looks like a damn running back. The only reason he plays receiver is because he's way faster than everybody. And that Jacoby Reddick reminds me of that. Like he has that like very fast twitch, and he can make moves with the ball in his hand. So you want to get it to him as soon as possible. Maybe running back is how you get it to him. So, yeah. So that's the Wolverines. I guess we're done. We did all the teams. That's pretty good. Let's see what else we got left. Oh, yeah. We'll do one last segment before we get out of here. All right, so last segment we'll do is initial/final thoughts on the league. We went over all the teams now. We've talked about all the different rosters. We're not doing predictions. We'll do that next week. But what are your initial thoughts on these teams this year? Maybe even divisions and stuff. How it might play out. How do you feel about it, Chris? Because we didn't get your thoughts on that from last time.
One of the interesting aspects I'm thinking of is it's an 8-team league now instead of a 7-team league. So that's interesting for me. More games, obviously, with the split with the divisions and stuff. But I can't wait to see what these Division 1 teams do, because we've talked about it before and previously on the show as well, how when Kuopio come up, they went straight to the playoffs. When the Royals came up, they went straight to the playoffs. So I'd love to see one of these two teams in the playoffs. Do I think it's possible? I don't know right now, because it's a bit of an unknown commodity. Some of these rosters and some of these names, I don't know. But we'll see how the season unfolds. And I would love to see one of these two teams in the playoffs. It seems like the Wolverines are going to be lagging again by the looks of things, like early on. The Butchers, looks like they're all in this season. They've gone out and got guys from all over the place. They've got Christian Powell, they've got Slater, they've got household names coming to the Butchers. So it seems like they're all in. Aaron Bide there, he had a great season with the Crocs last year. He's now at the Butchers. So they're all in. The Roosters are going to be as strong as ever, as always. And, the Steelers, new head coach, new mantra. They've got some good imports. They've hung on to some good Finnish guys as well. So it's going to be a good season. I'm really early doors. I mean, I would say probably the Butchers are probably the favorites, along with the Roosters. I would say are probably the two top teams. But that's early doors, going by the information that we have. And you know what it is like in Finland. Anything can change in a week's notice. You get the announcements of these rosters, but who knows who they're going to sign next week? Who knows they're going to sign week 2 of the season? It may be that they get guys coming in late. We see it all the time. Sometimes you've got guys coming halfway through the season. You don't know how many Swedes Vasa are going to get when the Swedish season finishes. We talk about that every year as well. Didn't really do it last year, but there's always a possibility that could happen. And
that goes back to arrogance. Just throwing that out there, because Alpha averaging 3 touchdowns a game for the last month of the season and them not making playoffs is crazy. Just throwing that out there. I have to. So I think I agree with you. My thoughts on the season. First, I don't know who's going to win. Like I honestly feel like, yes, I think the Butchers should be favored on paper. They should be favored. We also favored them last year on paper. You see how that worked out for us. So that means nothing. The paper means nothing. You have to play games on the field to see who's going to win. I think the division split is nice. I don't know how it really works with the numbers and stuff because I do know previously there's just not a lot of people that go to the games because it's 2025, the culture generation. It's so much easier just to pay the $10 to root to than to pay 15 to the club, which really sucks because I think the club gets more from the actual ticket sales than the root to because the league pays for the root. But it's much easier to just do the root to, and that's unfortunate. But maybe this new split will be helpful, mostly in the Helsinki area, because when you have the Butchers, ECA Giants, and the Wolverines playing each other, I don't know what the schedule looks like exactly, but you also have those same fan bases who can travel to those games. And that could be helpful. I know that Butchers home games, a lot of times, I went to a few of them. Was it last year? Maybe the year before. Maybe, yeah, it could have been year before, I think. But I've been to the Butchers home games a few times. And a lot of times when I go to the Butchers games, I see a lot of fans from the Helsinki area. It's so close, 45-minute drive. So I see a lot of Roosters, a lot of Wolverines fans. Maybe this year you see a lot of ECA Giants fans. Same thing not the same thing, actually. When the Roosters play home games, you usually see the Wolverines team players around if they don't have practice. Not so much ECA Giants, but I don't know their fan culture. I know they're going to be playing their games in that different stadium. It's a little out of the way from what I heard. So I'm not sure if they'll get the same respect out there. But then Vasa Seinäjoki, that game is always pretty packed because they both go to the home or away because it's what are they, 20 minutes away from each other, something like that?
And the Botnia Bowl. Come on now. You want to see the Botnia Bowl?
Twice a year Botnia Bowl. Oh my gosh. And so I think the division might help with kind of breeding a little bit more rivalry in some of these situations. I think definitely for the Roosters, them traveling more and having teams travel to Helsinki is going to be good because, one, a lot of teams can see how it's done because how the Roosters do it, the games, is how it should be done. But also in their division, they have don't they have Kuopio and Tampere, right? Tampere, Kuopio, Seinäjoki, and the Roosters. No, not Seinäjoki. What else is in their division? It's Roosters, Saints, Steelers. No. Tell me the divisions again. I already forgot them. Do you remember? Hold on.
I don't remember them, though.
Hold on.
Give me a
So I
second.
can make sure. Okay, so you have Roosters, Crocs, Royals, Saints. That's a good division. And then you have Butchers, Steelers, Wolverines, ECA Giants. Okay, so the Roosters have to go to Seinäjoki and Vasa, who both have pretty good game experiences. But those teams get to go to Roosters, who also have good game experience. And then the Saints, I don't know how they do it since they've been in Division One, but before they were Division One, I remember the Saints. That's where they used to have the ball flown in with somebody doing the parachute and stuff. Give you the game ball. And
yeah, I remember that.
They had the carnival and stuff, the bouncy house going. There was a rock concert at halftime. They used to do it big. I don't know if they still do it like that, but if they do, it makes for some exciting games. So for me, the biggest thing that I really hope more people do this summer, excluding me, I I'm gonna be watching all these damn games. But go see the games live. Go support the clubs. The clubs really need the support from the fans. And if you have a free afternoon, go see it. Obviously, on Saturday, there's always going to be 2 games. So there probably should be one in the East and one in the West. So depending on where you are, you should be able to get to one. And then, what is it? The Thursday, Friday night games, depending on where you are, maybe go see a late night game. Yeah, other than that, I think everybody should enjoy the games. That's all I got for it. Let's get up out of here. All right, that's it for this episode of American Football in Finland. Any last words about the upcoming season before we get out of here?
I'm excited for this slightly new format, the 8-team season, the divisions and stuff. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. 2 new teams. It's always nice to see fresh faces in the Maple League. Finally, they've got the relegation back into play and the promotion back into play, which is something I think we've wanted for a while now. But obviously, they had that plan in place. So, yeah, it should be a good one.
Yeah. We wish all the teams good luck this season, and we'll be watching every week right here on the AFF Podcast. Subscribe, follow, like, and share on all socials at American Football in Finland. Until next time, never forget
T.
I.
F.
We gone.